Roger Williams University is named for the founder of the state of Rhode Island on 130 acres of land in Bristol, Rhode Island. Roger Williams is addressing the issues of jobs, debt, and cost through a program we call Affordable Excellence. We want to be able to say, how can we offer a better educational product without it costing us an arm and a leg and pushing those costs back onto the students and the families. And it's almost magic in the sense that this is the single best example I have, this Samsung initiative that we're doing here in architecture.
Here in the school about 18 months ago, we really were at a crossroads. We had 58 computers for 475 students, and students would get into situations where they just couldn't do their work.
Because our computers were limited here at school, it was hard to make sure that you had a computer to work on regularly.
What was happening is a lot of kids were buying desktops and working from home. The people that were buying laptops, like myself, had to drop a lot of money.
So the idea that if we could distribute computing to all the students, we thought that would be a transformation. We found that a cloud computing model with Samsung interface could provide that to each student.
They went about and did a pilot on their own where they purchased a host of Samsung products for which they were able to really get a sense that they can validate, they can implement, and they can scale. When we heard about that, Samsung felt we had something to offer.
So then we worked more closely with Samsung to further develop the Samsung Design Studio, with each architecture workstation having a 27-inch monitor connected into a cloud server. And we have 9 65-inch Samsung interactive whiteboards for presentations and work in progress. And 6 of those are in open environments that are open 24 hours a day.
The Samsung Design Studio has actually improved our studio culture, because what was happening is a lot of the graduate students were working off of their own personal laptops.
In architecture, and probably more so design, being able to collaborate is extremely important.
Having the physical presence of someone being able to judge your work right next to you is great, and having this technology here makes that easier because people want to be here and they want to be using the stuff and they want to get that feedback, and so I think it's been a bit of improvement.
The School of Continuing Studies has a long record of service with the university. Because most of our population are at a distance, they tend to be in pockets by themselves. They tend to feel very isolated. How do we figure out a way for people to be very much there when they're remote? So we're talking about a virtual desktop, which simply allows students to log in, and any software or platform that they could have if they were working in the lab, they now have access through a tablet, through a computer, or through a laptop.
What is happening with the Samsung initiative is we are able to save students money.
The cloud-based system is really easy, and what's beneficial about it is any computer with internet connection can log on to it. So what's great about that is people aren't buying $2,000 laptops now, they're buying a $500 laptop, and they have all the power that even greater than a $2,000 or $3,000 laptop or desktop would hold.
Being able to use the cloud is an extreme asset because it saves me time in my renderings, which really allows me to hone in on what's working in my design, what isn't.
With the central server augmented by a rendering farm that we've set up, rendering times for student projects have gone from 18 or 20 hours down to 20 minutes. The Samsung Design Studio has transformed how we print. We used to spend more than $200,000 a year on printing costs for student projects. We now spend less than half of that because students use the digital technologies to present their work.
Having the screen, a large format screen, is a great way to present your project. There's no learning curve to the interactive whiteboard. As long as you're able to use a computer, it's basically the same except you're using your finger.
It is a cutting-edge technology. What the students are learning here, they will arrive as the experts in technology and architecture.
It is about how do we prepare these students for the real world. Samsung, with several 100,000 employees, we're looking for talent.
You automatically have an advantage. How are you going to make their company better? How are you going to improve the design process? And that's what having this technology does.
This is phenomenal for us. We wanted to test it in architecture, a high-end user. We wanted to test it in our School of Continuing Studies. Our results are certainly proof to us that we want to expand this to the rest of the university. And as this spreads across the face of the campus, we expect to capture as many as 15 dedicated laboratories and reconvert them to classrooms. That's a $20 million expenditure if we wanted to build a new classroom building.
It's really exciting to be a part of the first school in the country that has this kind of technology.
I'm really impressed with what Roger Williams University is doing right now. And I think this can be a model for many other universities that are looking for how to differentiate itself and yet improve the education experience for their students.
I really appreciate what Samsung's doing with us, and I think, anyone that comes by the studio will understand the impact that these are going to have. The fact that we're kind of leading that movement right now is great, and I think it's going to bring a great response to Roger Williams and to Samsung mutually.